In the late years of the 1950s, Ford decided to add a new car model into its already existing line of automobiles. It's called this the Ford Edsel. And despite being reputed as one of America's finest car manufacturers, the Edsel failed to live up to its expectations in the market, and it has today been described a cautionary tale in corporate misstep. Numerous reasons have been attached to the failure of the Edsel itself, but one of them stands out, and that's the strong aversion for brand validation. So what exactly is brand validation? Brand validation is one of the 5 disciplines of branding as given by Marty in his book The Brand Gap, and the core of brand validation emphasizes the need for businesses to embody two-way communication when it comes to their processes. A two-way communication being listening for feedbacks from their customers and observing from the sidelines what the market exactly is saying, the reactions of the market, and incorporating these things into every major decision that is being made in the business. And this exactly was one of the things that Ford's executive failed to achieve in the production of the Edsel. Now, the project of the Edsel itself is recorded to have tended towards a personal one rather than being objective, and this had an effect on the major decisions that were made regarding the project itself. First, the company's executives rather failed to look externally in a profound manner when it came to designing and the launch of the product itself. It was very obvious that the car had been designed without a particular target market in view, because according to 12 Classic Tales of Wall Street, after the car was designed, then efforts went into naming it, which revealed the fact that there was no defined customer base yet for the Edsel itself. Now that sounds like putting the cart before the horse. So another cascading effect this also had was the design of the car itself. The design of the car itself was based primarily on executives' instinct and intuition, and there was no pretense on the side of Ford to communicate that there was actually a very vast consultation of the public. This actually underscores undermining of public feedback and consumer communication. One other thing also that went into this, which stemmed and was a cascading effect of the project itself tending towards the personal side of the spectrum rather than being objective, was that spontaneous buying decisions were predicted. Very true, but these were not based on real-time consumer data. There was little attention paid to the fluctuations of the market itself at that time. America was to enter into a recession, and these were things that were seen, but Ford executives decided to take a huge risk going ahead with the production and the launch of the Edsel. Now, the results of this were very drastic for Ford itself, because it took a lot of hits financially, and the Edsel was a financial failure. The launch of the Edsel was the most expensive for any consumer product in America's history, having consumed $250 million, that's inflation excluded now, on its launch alone. And it was expected as a return on investment that the Edsel itself would sell around 200,000 units within its first year. But the shocker was that after 2 years, 2 months and 15 days, the Edsel had only sold barely above 109,000 units. That's 109,466 units, which, when scrutinized properly, was seen that the majority of the buying decisions were made by internal executives, Ford's car dealers themselves, the salesmen, assembly line members, and every other person that had a personal interest in seeing the Edsel succeed. Now, this is a very drastic data, because even the 109,000 units that was reputed to be sold, 109,466 units that was reputed to be sold within that time range, actually accounted for less than 1% of the total amount of cars sold in America as at that period. Now, this underscores the fact that the Edsel was a very huge failure in the automobile market. So after taking a huge hit, the Ford Edsel was discontinued in the closing months of the year 1959, and Ford was recorded to have lost a huge amount of money owing to the Edsel itself. Now, this could have been averted if Ford had paid attention to the market itself, had actually paid attention to what the consumers were saying, and appreciated and used feedback extensively in the production and design of the Edsel. And now that remains a cautionary tale for the very corporate world itself, emphasizing the need for validation at every point and using consumer-centric approaches at the core of business decisions. Alright, so that will be all for now. I hope you found this video very helpful, and if you did actually, please, I'd love you to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to this channel so you can stay up to date whenever we post up new content which you'll find very valuable.